Knot number 1 is the Eldredge knot. Now, because this is all tied with the thin end of the tie, we decide how long we want the tie to be right at the start. So we want it to finish at the belt buckle. Then put the dimple in, pinch, and bring the dimple across to the middle. Then pull the tail across, round the back, up the front, and down the back. That gives us this shape at the front and locks your dimple in place. Now, hand the tail across to the right, wrap it around the front, up the back, and loosely down to the right. Pass it underneath, hold on to that loop that we just created, and pass the tail through there. Now we're just going to tighten up this section here and give it a gentle tug. That's the whole of the bottom section done. Now, tuck the tail down the back of the neck hole. From here, we're just finishing off with a figure of 8 at the top. So we go up and into the middle, down the neck hole, and then up. And that loop that we had just there, we pass it through there. Now keep these top shoulders quite high so that you can see the rest of the knot, and tighten it by giving it a gentle tug. Then this tail at the side, put it to the side of the collar and fold the collar down. Straighten the collar, hold the blade and the knot and slide it up to finish. Check the length, and that is your Eldredge knot. Knot number 2 is the Trinity knot. This one starts with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. Now we start with the dimple, pinch, and draw the tail across, and it goes straight up the back and down to the right, underneath, up the front, and down the neck hole, giving it that shape like that. It goes across the front, up the back, and tuck down the front. Give that a tug, and then loosen off that last bit that we just made. Wrap it around the back. The reason we left that loose is we want to tuck that tail in there and tighten up like this. Then we're going to hold on to the knot, hold on to the blade, and slide it up to the collar. Put the tail around the collar and fold the collar down. And that is your Trinity knot. Knot number 3 is the Vidalia knot. Now this starts with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. Start with the dimple, pinch, and draw the narrow end across, up the neck hole, and down to the right. Pass it underneath, up the left, and back down the neck hole. Keep these 2 loops nice and loose, and we're going to use the tail, grab the end of the tail and post it through this one and then through this one to give you that shape. We're then going to go up the back and down to the right, underneath, up to the neck hole and down, and then the loop that we just made going underneath, pass it down the back of there to tighten, and then grab the knot and the blade and slide it up to the collar. And that is your very simple but very effective Vidalia knot. Knot number 4 is the Fishbone Knot. Now this is one of the simplest and most effective tie knots you can do, and you're going to learn it very quickly. So let's start with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. Now I start with the dimple, pinch and pinch, draw the tail across the front, all the way around, up and down the neck hole. Over to the right, up and down the neck hole. And you can see the start of the fishbone there. Now all we're going to do from here is alternate each side, a loop on each side. So we would draw back to the left side and a loop, back to the right and a loop. I'm going to do one more. You could stop there. That's quite a nice knot in itself, but I'm going to do one more. Once around the left, once around the right, and then you're left with this excess here, which I'm just going to tuck around the side. Then fold the collar down, grab the knot, hold the blade, slide it up to the collar. Really simple, really effective. That's your fishbone knot. Knot number 5 is the Merovingian knot. Now, this is from the film The Matrix. It looks a lot more complicated than it is, so let's get straight into it. It starts with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about fingertip length. Now, first move is the blade under the tail. Grab the tip of the blade and put it down the neck hole. Draw the blade across the front, revealing the back of the tie, up the back and down to the left. Have it loosely down to the left, underneath, up the back and down the neck hole. And as you're pulling it down the neck hole, drop it into that loose loop at the back. Then hold on to this mini knot in the middle and give the blade, which is now at the back, a tug. Then hold on to the knot, hold on to the tail and slide it up to the collar. Adjust as necessary, and that is the Merovingian knot. Knot number 6 is one of my favourites. It's called the Samosa Knot. It's a great party knot, quite complicated, so you might need to watch it a couple of times, but you will get there. Now, start with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. Now again, put the dimple in, pinch and pinch, take the tail across the front, around, up the front and down the back. Bring it across to the right, again up the front and down the back. Then we're going to go back to the left, around the front, up the back and down to the left. Underneath, up the front and down the neck hole, and the last little loop that we just made there, tuck it down the back and give it a tug. Then hold on to the blade, hold on to the knot and just slide it up to the collar. And the last tiny adjustment is just to move that front piece down to reveal the middle section. And there we have the Samosa knot. Knot number 7 is the John Wick knot, or the Van Wyk knot as it's called in Dutch. Again, it's very simple but very effective, and you've got one little trick here to get it perfect. Now, it starts with the tie with the blade a little bit longer than fingertip length. Front of the tie facing forwards, and we go blade over tail. Now the trick is to keep a finger across the knot at this point. Then we're going to go all the way around 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times a lady, up the back, and then where your finger is, just pass the blade there. Hold on to these 3 loops because you don't want to pull it through just yet. When you get to this stage, pull it, and these all 3 should separate, giving you the 3 distinctive layers of the John Wick knot. When you get it looking like that, hold on to the knot, hold on to the tail, slide it up to the collar, and you can adjust as you see fit. And that is your John Wick knot. Knot number 8 is the Sarath knot. Now, this is a very complicated knot, but worthwhile if you want to create a real impression. So we start with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. Now, first dimple, pinch, pinch, and unusually, we're going narrow end under wide. Around the front, up the back, and down the front. We're going underneath, up the front, and down the neck hole, giving you this shape here at the front. We're then going to create the side pieces at the bottom. So we go down, and then we want to go across at 90 degrees, and then up at 90 degrees, like that. And then take the end of that, up the neck hole, and move it up until you've got it sitting there at the bottom of the knot. Now, when you're happy with the length, what we're going to do is pull the loop to one side, and the tail goes down and underneath to the other side. Now move the loop to the other side again, out of the way again, and up and down the neck hole. Now, that last move has just created a loop at the back that we're going to tuck the tail down like that. Now, we need to move the loop from the front of the tie to the back. So pull the blade and the tail through that loop. And it's now facing the wrong way, so just turn it the other way around. And then we hold on to the blade, hold on to the knot, and just slide it up to finish. Fold the collar down, and then we can do any adjustments that are needed. Fan out the different pieces to make a bit more of a statement of it. Not that it needs any real attention drawing to it, it's quite a distinctive knot in the first place. Like I say, it's quite a statement, but hopefully a nice conversation starter. There you have the Sarath knot. Knot number 9 is the Viper knot. Now this is a great little knot, really fun to wear and quite easy to learn. So give me your attention for 2 minutes and I'll show you the Viper knot. Now we start with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. Now we start with the dimple, pinch and move it to the middle. Get the tail and wrap it all the way around the back, up, and tuck it down the neck hole, like that. Now go across the front and keep it nice and low, and then up the back and down to the right. Now this is going to be the first of the Viper's teeth, so we want to keep it as vertical as possible. Keep that straight, underneath, and again straight up the other side. So you've got your 2 teeth in the making there. Now pinch it just about there and make sure the cross piece, when you wrap it across, stays quite high. This is going to be the makings of the viper's face. Then tuck it up the back and then straight down the same side, back underneath, up the other side and down the neck hole again. We've just created a handy little loop at the back which we're going to use to tighten. Then hold on to the blade, hold on to the knot and tighten it up. Just make sure you don't lose the viper's teeth. And there we have the viper knot. And I've saved the best till last. Knot number 10 is the Bazinga Knot. Now this has the simplicity of the Trinity Knot, but the presence of the Eldredge. You're going to love to learn it. It'll only take you a couple of minutes. Now, we start with the front of the tie facing forwards and the blade about belt buckle length. We start with the dimple, pinch, and draw the tail across the front. We go up the back and down to the right, underneath, up the front and down the back, giving that symmetrical shape at the front. Across the front from left to right, up the back and tuck it down the front and give it a tug to tighten. Loosen off that last bit we just did there. We're going to use that again in a second. This is exactly the same as we did for the Trinity. Pass the tail around the back and up and through that loop that we created there. Now, tighten that loop by tugging this back one down and then pull it through like that. So that's your classic Trinity knot. Now, the bit that gives it the Bazinga edge is take the tail and tuck it down through the neck hole and then go up to the middle and down and then up around the right side and down the middle again. And then with that last loop that we just made at the back, use that to tidy up the tail. And then as ever, hold on to the blade, hold on to the knot and just tighten up to finish. Now, some people don't like the fact that the tail is hanging down the back. What you can do is, alternatively, you can tuck that away at the side. But either way, it's nice and straightforward. So the Bazinga knot rounds off the list at number 10, and those are my 10 favourite party knots. Party knots, fancy knots, wedding knots, call them what you will. But have I missed something out? Was there a knot that you would have liked to have seen there that I didn't include? What's your favourite? Out of the 10, what was your favourite knot? And do you have any questions about how to make any of them? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this sort of content, please subscribe to the channel and you'll get more of the same. Till next time, I'll see you very soon. Take care.